borrows money from them to fund the government, and the government says, well, we have to pay these people interest. How are we going to pay them interest? Let's impose a tax on the labor of the American people, which never existed before, to pay the interest to bankers.
In fact, in 1980, Ronald Reagan said not one red cent of your income tax money goes from the country, all goes to the Federal Reserve.
Well, it was the Grace Commission report that said that not one nickel goes to the infrastructure of the country. You know.
I guess Reagan quoted that.
Right. And so, but the point I'm trying to make is that by creating the Federal Reserve System, the government now became dependent on these private banks for money. And they started taxing us.
Yes.
You see. And so now what happens is that in 35, I believe it was, Social Security started. And they gave Social Security cards, said not to be used for identification. Social Security number right on the card.
But they all use
Right?
for identification.
And Social Security, they started deducting money out of your paycheck. That was the first time they were ever could take money out of your paycheck, which people agreed to, because those going to the retirement fund.
That's why you're self-employed.
And so then when they instituted the income tax again, they started taking money out of your paycheck because Social Security could do it.
Right.
And then they could do it again.
See, like a real job.
Now they've even taken control of the tax payment itself. They really like to enslave. They're taking it right there when you make it.
Right.
Exactly.
I've known that for a long time.
Send them a check. Right. They take it out automatically because they know people aren't going to want to pay it. So what's
Right.
happened
I don't.
is that through the implementation of the Federal Reserve System, the government has become invested in these bankers, and they get their money from the bankers. And so then they impose a tax on us, which makes us more slaves, makes it more difficult for us to survive, right?
Yes,
Giving
very.
them more profits. And now what's happened is that through the Federal Reserve System, the bankers have pretty much taken control of our government. It doesn't matter Republican or Democrat anymore,
Right.
because they're both the same.
Right.
Neither one of them are talking about changing the Federal Reserve System or stopping the payment of taxes, you know, or any of the big issues that face Americans, right? So I had a friend, Nick Rockefeller, okay, who was one of the Rockefeller family, and he, when I was running for governor in Nevada, he came to me, introduced himself to me to an attorney, and we became friends. We started talking about things, and I learned an awful lot from Mr. Rockefeller. And one of the things that we used to talk about was the also plan of the banking industry, what they want to accomplish.
Right. I've known it for
And
years.
the goals of the banking industry, not just the Federal Reserve System, but the private banks in Germany and England, all of Italy, all over the world, they all work together.
The World
They're all
Bank.
central banks, and they're all part of the Communist Manifesto. You know, central banking is one of the major planks of the Communist Manifesto. We talk about America being a capitalistic country, but yet at the same time you have a central bank that plans everything for us, right? And the graduated income tax is another plank of the Communist Manifesto.
If you're
right?
self-employed,
So
you
I
don't
think you
pay
have
it
two
right
major
away.
planks of the Communist Manifesto that have been brought in because of the Federal Reserve System, okay? So the ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one-world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers.
Yep. Bankers own the
And
world.
they're doing inception. The European currency, the euro, and the European Constitution is one part of it.
This
Now
one I
they're trying
am
to do it in
reposting.
America with the North American Union, right? And they want to create a new currency called the Amero, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one-world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them.
No.
All money
Don't do that.
is to be
Someone tested
in
it
those
already.
chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is getting me straight from Rockefeller himself.
Here's a story I had.
And all
I
money
got
will be
told
in the chips.
I don't speak.
And so,
not speak. I don't
cash.
do
Anytime
normal.
you have money in your
Try to
your
pay for
check,
something for
they
$50
can take out whatever they
yesterday.
want to take out whenever they want to.
$50
They say, you
bill.
owe this much money in
$12.20
taxes. They
at
just deduct it
CVS.
out of your chip digitally. Total control. Total control.
And the lady told me I
And
wasn't
it's
normal.
you,
I said, what?
And you're protesting what they're doing.
She said I
It's
wasn't
just an
normal
open chip.
because
And you
go
have
back
nothing.
and watch this if
You
you
can't buy food.
This lady said I wasn't normal for using a $50 bill after midnight. I'm at State Route 48 and Wick Road in Centerville, and she wouldn't let me pay, and she...
They want a one-world government.
You gotta listen to this, guys. See, look at this. This is on lots of videos I've sent. She wanted to call the police if I didn't understand what she was saying.
And you become a slave. You become a serf to these people. That's their goal. That's their intention.
More than a decade ago, I began getting secret government documents, and we published them, where the feds were training the local police and the military that gun owners, conservatives, people that made frequent references to the U.S. Constitution were terrorists. That's a quote. But in 2009, it broke into the national media when we received the secret MIAC report from a state police officer, and that was in the state of Missouri, but the feds had written it, demonizing Ron Paul, people that wanted to end the Federal Reserve, people that wanted liberty and freedom. And now more secret reports have been released, like the Department of Homeland Security report, which the feds admit they wrote, that says returning veterans the number one terror threat in America, that gun owners are part of that number one threat, that people buying ammo are the number one threat.
Yeah.
Think about this.
Gun sales
private
up
bankers
right after
overthrowing the United
election.
States, and they're secretly training the police that gun owners and patriots and veterans are the number one threat.
Yeah.
So they're saying the American people that follow the Constitution and Bill of Rights that will actually stand up against this tyranny are terrorists, because they are the terrorists. They are the criminals coming in with a corporate takeover, a hijacking of the nation.
And the cops want you to own a gun. They told me to buy a gun May 31st when I got death threats on the telephone.
I never talked to a female attorney I knew who called me up one day and said, one of the Rockefellers would like to meet you. I made a video called Mad as Hell, and he'd seen it.
I'm mad as hell, too. I'm a pissed off realtor that knows what the banks did.
I'd love to meet him. And I met him, and I liked him, and he was a very, very smart man. And we used to talk. And
Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
Thoughts. And he's the one who told me 11 months before 9/11 ever happened that there was going to be an event. He never told me what the event was going to be, but there was going to be an event. And out of that event, we were going to invade Afghanistan to run pipelines from the Caspian Sea. We were going to invade Iraq, to take over the oil fields, establish a base in the Middle East, and make it all part of the New World Order. And we'd go after Chavez in Venezuela. And sure enough, later 9/11 happened. And I remember he was telling me how you're going to see soldiers looking in caves for people in Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Yeah, that's funny, isn't it?
and it's going to be this war on terror.
Yeah.
Which is no real enemy.
No.
The whole thing is a giant
I don't think so.
but it's a way for the government to take over.
Believe it, people. Believe it.
Oh, yeah.
We know it's a hoax.
There's no question. It's a war on terror. He's laughing.
I've been laughing for a long time.
9/11 happened. And nothing's happened since.
People wake up.
You think that our security is so great here that these people who pulled off 9/11 were able to can't knock down another plane? Come on, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
9/11 was done by people in our own government and our own banking system to perpetuate the fear of the American people and to subordinating themselves to anything the government wants them to do.
Right.
That's what it's about, and to create this war, this endless war on terror. And that's why and that was the first lie. And the next lie was going into Iraq, to get Saddam Hussein out with his weapons of mass destruction. That was the next lie.
Now, specifically, this was a little over 6 years ago.
This was.
I knew all this a long time ago. When they bombed 9/11, okay. Why didn't they send airplanes up there right away? We got all this stuff.
That it's going to be this big event.
Smiling just like him.
A war on terror, and it's just going to go on and on.
Right. An endless war without any real enemy. That you can never define a winner.
And did he say that it's going to be perfect because you can't define an enemy?
Yeah, you can't define a winner. There's no one to beat. So it goes on and on forever.
Just
They can do whatever they want. They scare the hell out of the American public. Look,
the
this whole
stupid
war on terror
ones.
is a fraud.
Wake up.
It's a farce. It's very difficult to say it out loud.
Wake up, people. People really wake up. Watch all this stuff. It's probably on Alex's channel and everywhere. Peace out, America, and please wake up. I'm a self-employed realtor who knows.